Hey, Motorman here, and this is our class from June 20th, and I'm going to show you some of the mistakes that the riders make. This is the snowman, the dreaded snowman. We have three circles. First one is 30 foot to the left, the next one is 26 foot to the right, and the last one is 24 foot to the left. Now let's watch this rider and see what he does. He's making some mistakes now. See if you could pick out those mistakes. I'll keep quiet for just a moment. Did you see exactly what he did wrong? If not, I'm going to show you this exact same clip again, but this time in slow motion. So he pulls into the first circle. Right there, he cut himself about 10 feet short. But because that's a 30-foot circle, he could still make it through. This is about half speed, by the way. Now he pulls into this circle, and watch this. He's so far away from those cones, he's 10 or 12 feet from them. There's no way he's going to make now this 12-foot turn. He looks at the cone he doesn't want to hit, and of course he runs right into it. He's a little bit frustrated now. That's understandable. A lot of people get frustrated in this exercise. He's now trying to hit as many cones as possible. Now let's watch this rider. Now, he's not a great or experienced rider in these techniques, but in this exercise, he's using all the space available. Watch how close he gets to those cones. He could be turning his head a little bit faster and looking for the green cone, but he's doing well, using all the space available. Gets it all the way over to that side. Turns his head a little bit slow, but because there's always room for error, he makes it through. He's just trying to find an exit now, and then he finds it. Let's watch our other rider. This is his second time through. Again, we're in slow motion. Once again, loses about 8 or 9 feet of space. The point is to stay as close to the cones as possible and look only for the green cones. Now he turns his head, looks for the green cone, but then he straightens his head. Now there's no straight part to a circle, so he's going to start having problems. He should already be looking for the next green cone. He looks straight. He goes straight out of the exercise, out of the circle. He's going to attempt the last one, but he doesn't get his bike anywhere near the cone, so he just drives straight out of it. Now, these are common problems. Usually takes most riders 3 or 4 times through before they really get it. Let's watch this next rider. In this instance, I had 4 good riders, and I had them go through the exercise all at the same time. This puts pressure on the riders, and sometimes they need a little bit of pressure. We need to push them just a bit. I knew they were all capable of it. Even though they cut that short, that first circle again, there's plenty of room for error, and they all have a good handle on head and eyes, the friction zone, and a little pressure on the rear brake. And just to give you an idea how much room there is in this exercise, you could easily fit 4 bikes. I think we could actually get 5 bikes in that particular circle all at one time. After the snowman, we do a braking exercise. That's kind of a boring thing to watch, so I rarely ever film that. And then the very last thing we do, the class is officially over, but I offer the riders a chance to do a little competition. So we set up the intersection. That's what you see here at 24 feet by 36 feet. And we time the riders through. Now, sometimes the riders, the best of the riders, under the pressure of a stopwatch, totally fold. You never know what's going to happen. And sometimes the worst riders, they make this their best run, so they like the pressure. The idea is to go through as quickly as possible with the least amount of errors. An error would be running over a cone. I add 1 second for that. Putting a foot down, add another second. And if they drive out of a leg of the exercise, it's over. So some of what you're seeing here, I give them a practice run. And I'm not sure if we're showing the practice run or the actual competition here, but this rider is so good, I offered to handicap him to make it more fair because it was clear that he was the fastest rider. And I asked him, what should your handicap be? Should it be 3 seconds or 4 seconds, whatever it may be? Well, he decided 5 seconds was good. It didn't quite make the 5 seconds, but he was really close to, in other words, beating all the other riders by almost 5 seconds. Now, this rider is one who folds under the pressure. We actually missed the run where it was the second run he went through, the final run, and he actually dropped his motorcycle because he was riding over his skill level. He did the same thing the last class he was at. This is his second time here. And I told him not to commit a crime because you'll talk. The cops will have you talking in 5 minutes. But average time through this exercise is about 30 to 32 seconds. So anything below that, you're better than average. Now this rider, because he has such a small motorcycle, I also gave him a 3-second handicap. In other words, he's got to beat the other riders by at least 3 seconds. And here's our rider who had probably I'm not sure if she had the most problems in the class, but she was the most timid of riders. And this is actually her best run. She's been through this intersection. In fact, all the riders have probably about 15 or 20 times, maybe even more. And made several mistakes going through, but under the pressure now, she's actually doing better than she had ever done before. Didn't make any errors, and I believe her time was right around 30 seconds, so she'd be average to maybe even slightly below average for all the riders through the years. Here's our rider that was having a terrible time with the snowman. He obviously likes pressure because he's doing very well here. This was easily his best run. And I award the riders with a trophy for the quickest time with the least amount of errors. And believe me, they want that trophy bad. Don't know why that is, but people love trophies. And of course, this is optional. The riders don't have to participate. They've actually, by this point, completed all of the exercises in the video, including the braking exercise. Now this rider totally folds under the pressure. Watch what happens. Runs right out of the exercise. I told him, don't commit a crime, you'll talk for sure. 5 minutes in the interrogation with the cops and he'd be admitting to shooting Kennedy. Again, this was a rider with a handicap. I think it was 3 seconds if I'm not mistaken. But because this type of motorcycle has such a short wheelbase, and it's a smaller bike, I believe it's fair to handicap them against the other riders. Well, that's it for now. Till next time, this is Motorman signing out.